falling, it won't open, it's no good, and I'm wide awake now. I can't get no sleep.
The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is Talking Sense with Andy the Blade. Yes, the channel MVP is back. I'll be having a chat with him very, very shortly. You may have seen me slightly earlier than I expected you to, but we're a work in progress, as we all know. So, first of all, a quick apology, actually, to some of our Platinum Ramblers, because I am usually fair to very active in our Platinum group. I have been almost buried in learning this software, so I can only apologise for not being as active as I usually am. I will be back up and running before we know it. And yeah, I just wanted to say that because I think it's only right that people do expect me to be a bit more involved than I have been recently. So I will get back on it as soon as I can. We are all over the place this week with so many live shows and 10-minute transfers, all this sort of thing. But tonight, we're here to get the opinion of one man. He is the channel MVP. It is the one, the only, my dad, Andy the Blade. Get ready for this.
He's a man with a plan, sharp as steel. Andy the Blade got the knowledge appeal in the world of Blades. He's the king we trust. Jimmy's dad on the mic, kicking up the dust. ATP, he's the channel MVP. Sharp wit, sharp mind, that's the key. Blades Ramble, bringing truth to the game. Andy the Blade, remember the name.
Hello, Father. How are you?
Hiya, Jim. You all right? Hiya, Blades. Jim.
You couldn't hear that, could you? I'm hoping they could. But
I'll tell you what. This is the first time I've been on with all your new technology. What a load of rubbish. It looks great, but I'm not joking. Every time I come on, apologies, Blade. Work in progress. Just not got it quite right.
Give tools to a monkey. That's what happens, isn't it? That's what happens.
Just haven't got it quite right yet. It's just work in progress. It'll be there. It'll be there soon.
Yeah, but soon. You see, if you say soon, it's a piece of string into it. Don't. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. We're here to get sound bites of you embarrassing yourself, not taking the mick out of me.
It looks great, Jim. It looks great.
Thank you.
Just learn how to use it. Just learn how to use it.
Do you want to have a go?
No.
You couldn't even find your email that I sent you to come online.
Well, you sent it to bloody spam, didn't you? That's right.
Yeah, I did, yeah. I said spam to Dad. Right, so I wish you'd have heard that intro. I obviously didn't set it.
What is it? What is it? I just heard. I saw some weird old pictures of me.
It's great. You'll have to watch it back to see. But I'm sure everybody else could see because they're laughing, and that was the intention. But either way, welcome back, Dad. It has been. Do you just want to explain to everybody where you've been in your absence? Can you remember all the places you've been? This is a test for you.
I've been a few places. I've just got back from a lad's trip to Galway, which was I haven't spoken to you about it yet, Jim. Anybody who wants me to Galway, absolutely brilliant. I've been to 4 or 5 of the best pubs I've ever been in my life.
Wow!
In my life,
that is some going.
I've been in a lot of pubs.
You certainly have. Every pub in Benidorm, I think.
Every pub in Benidorm, absolutely. But honestly, we've had an absolutely great time. So I did that. I've been at Isle of Wight Festival, see some bands, and stayed at home for a few days.
Before we were off again.
Yeah, there we go.
Unbelievable, Dad. Loving life, which is great. Fantastic.
Yep.
I love it. Can people let me know as well how my mic levels are? Because I think, to me Dad's point, where things haven't yet got to the point where I want them to be, I'm pretty sure we should be all right in terms of mic levels now. But let me know, fingers crossed. Dad, we have got loads to get into tonight, and I don't want to keep you longer than necessary, because you're probably catching a flight somewhere a little bit later on tonight.
I've got a contract that says I'm only allowed on for 40 minutes.
A contract? All right,
I've signed a contract with you.
Okay, yes, okay. I remember that. I remember it well. First, there's only one place to start, Dad. The last time we spoke, Chris Wilder was manager of the football club.
Yeah. Bloody hell, that's flown past.
I know it has. So, what did you make to the decision? And 3 weeks on, or wherever it is, what do you make to the decision now? Not necessarily the Ruben Selles thing, but the Chris Wilder out initially. What you thought?
Well, I didn't want him to go. Obviously, you know, I'm a big Chris Wilder fan. I liked him. I liked him as a person. I liked what he brought to the club. I didn't always agree with the stuff he did. I've said this before on here. There were things, his transfers I didn't always agree with, his game management, so much stuff he did I didn't always agree with, but I thought the actual ethos that he brought to the club were brilliant, and I was sorry to see him go. And to be honest, if I think about it, I don't think that the club was fair to him in how they got rid of him. I know it was supposed to be a joint thing, but you know, everybody knew about it, and apparently he didn't know about it because he were on holiday. And it was, I thought, a little bit disrespectful to somebody who's a Blade at heart as well, and gave a lot to the club. It got us all sorted. Got us sorted this year, this last season. Nearly got us there. We didn't play that well last season, if I'm honest, but we got the results. So I would have been quite happy for him to have another season, but I can see how the new owners might have looked at it and thought we needed a change, because I think he's got a ceiling as Chris, and it's probably where he took us last year was probably as far as he could have taken us.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's hang on. I think I'm just getting some information about my microphone.
I can hear you all right.
Yeah, I think it should be okay now, to be honest. I agree with you, Dad. It was a shock. We're not going to dwell on it too much because obviously we've spoken about it.
It's all news now, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is a little bit, but people were obviously keen to know your opinion on it. It's no surprise that you were in a similar boat to a lot of us. A bit of a shock. Not a shock in terms of the decision, because it was sort of murmured for a little while. Obviously, I talked about it on the channel when it were first sort of rumbling. So, what do you think the reasons behind it were? Because there's been a lot of speculation, and it doesn't really matter now, I suppose. But moving into Ruben Selles being the new manager, do you think it's more been about the structure of the club and the way that we're set up as a club?
Yeah, I think they probably thought. I mean, I don't know the owners. I know Chris a little bit, as you know, but I think they probably thought Chris was had a set way of doing things and was quite immobile in his ways. Really, I don't think he liked a lot of change. I think personally, he would have probably got us into a similar position this season as we would have done last season. But we weren't playing well, so you could argue maybe that it would have been lucky to have got the same number of points. And I think we've gone for Selles, who's I don't know a lot about. He hasn't got a great CV with, you know, Southampton and Hull and Reading, but apparently the stats say that he's the man. I think he's one of these. He's one of these that's got a. Whereas Wilder's sort of limits were sort of like there. I think his limits is sort of can either be really good or poor. Yeah. You know what I mean? It can be really good for us going this new direction, or it could not work. But I've got my head round Chris going, and I think we all should get behind him, and I'm sure we all will, until we don't.
You've been a Blade a long time, haven't you, Dad?
But no, I'm perfectly happy to go along with him, see where he gets. A lot will depend on who we bring in as well, so and how we start. But you've got to give him a chance now. He's our manager. We're all Blades, and we've got to get behind him.
Are you starting to get excited now, Dad? Not just with Cers, because it's an unknown really, but fixtures are coming round again. Are you getting your head back into football, or are you not quite there yet in terms of getting ready for stuff?
No, I am. I'm looking forward to football starting again. Although I do enjoy my other sport as well. I enjoy my rugby league and a bit of cricket. I watched a bit of tennis the other day. So but I'm. It all depends really on who we buy, though. I've been quite underwhelmed with our signings so far.
Yeah. What do you think? Obviously, we've been doing a lot of development signings, and I can talk to you a little bit more about that. We'll be steered back comments on that, because you, as much as anybody, obviously you're well qualified in terms of your scouting background, but we don't know anything about these lads that have come in from Botdev, Plovdiv, and to be expected to know would be very ambitious. But Tyler Binden has come in from Forest. Had a good season on loan at Reading. Had this been 5 years ago, Dad, I know you'd have been able to tell me what his shoe size were and everything else. And I don't expect you to be thoroughly invested in him as a player, but from what you've heard and the little bits that you've seen, does that sort of signing, work for you? We needed a centre half. He's another young lad. Do we need to start getting some more experienced heads in and around the squad, or are you happy with this youth movement that we seem to be targeting?
Right. You asked me about 4 or 5 different questions.
Yeah, I did. But I can't stop you once you start going. So I thought.
But Tyler Binden, I had heard a little bit about him before this. There's been a few people talking about him, saying what a good player he was at Reading. Very clever player. Bit of a ball playing centre half, I think. He's not a big bruiser, but he's. So I think he's a good player. I think he's a good prospect, and I think he'll be good for the team. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is that I think you might have mentioned it before on one of your podcasts. We are bringing him on now for Forest because we've only got him as a loan. He's not going to be ours, and I don't see him as an immediate first team impact player. I think he's be a good good for the squad. But I think we don't know we're keeping yet. That's the other thing.
Do you not think he gets in front of Nell or Robinson?
I don't know. He might get in front of Nell. In front of Robinson, because obviously we don't particularly like Robinson. But I'm not sure whether he would or not.
Speak for yourself, Father. Speak for yourself.
No, I know what you think of Robinson. But I think Nell's fine. If Nell's staying, Nell's fine if we can get some. But I think we need somebody at the side of him. You don't have to be big and tough, a suitor. But I think we need somebody who's a bit more like captain, I know you've spoken about Worrell or people like that before. Somebody with a bit of experience, a bit of know-how who can organise the defence. That's what we need. Someone to organise it rather than Suter were great because he did a bit of organising, but also he would be able to go up and head. But most centre halves can head the ball and get it away. Not as good as Suter, but I think we need an organiser at the back, a captain type player.
A Rob Holding, if you will.
Rob Holding would be ideal. I can't get my head around that. I know you've mentioned this before, but I can't get my head around the lovely text that he sent to Chris Wilder, or the Twitter that he sent to Chris Wilder about, thanks for everything, thanks for helping me along and for last season. When he didn't even play him. I'm flabbergasted by it.
It leans me towards thinking that he possibly was less fit than we were led to believe.
Maybe.
And that is the only speculation. If he's more than happy with Chris Wilder, you'd think coming and not playing hardly at all, you would be unhappy if you were fit and able to play.
Absolutely.
If he has not been fit to play and he has still got a little bit of game time and sort of bled in carefully and stuff like that, which in hindsight it may well have been, then maybe that's what it's about as well. So we're only speculating there. So
Bindon, I don't see him as an impact starter.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I think he comes in to start because I think as well, and you'll be of the same opinion, I'm sure.
Well, you know what Brian Clough said. You know what Brian Clough said, don't you? He says, "I will listen to your point of view, then you'll realise that I'm right."
That's not Brian Clough. That's been you all my life. So there's. I forgot what I was going to say now. I don't know.
Bindon, we're talking about.
Yes, you will likely agree that your 5 loans should be starters or very, very close to being starters.
I think so. Why not? Why not be?
Well, there should be the players you struggle to obtain.
We can get squad players for our budget. 1 million to 2 million, 3 million, hopefully.
Potato.
But we can do. And the other thing is, I went just having a look at our team. I know Sousa's gone, but we've got a good team, in general. We've got a good team if we keep everybody.
The spine that we've got, which leads me to another point, but the players that we've got currently are really good players. Michael Cooper in goal. Anel with the right partner is very, very good at the level, and that's something he needs to work on. Harrison Burrows, you wouldn't swap him for anybody.
We've got some gaps. I've just been having a look. We've got some gaps.
We've got some big gaps. But Kusema moving into the middle. Callum O'Hare. Tyrese Campbell, maybe. I know we can go into that if you want to touch on that, but we don't have to at the moment.
Yeah.
Losing Vinny Sousa, Dad. How big a blow do you think that's going to be? And do you think, with the depth that we have in that position, that we need to immediately go out and replace him, or do you think we still need to look at right back and wingers?
No, we need. Well, stop asking me about 5 different questions at once.
That's 2 questions. Do we need to replace him immediately,
or right back?
Or do we need to be looking at right back and wingers, the positions that we are currently light on?
The third one in there now.
No, that's the question. That's the double question.
Right. Right back. We definitely need a right back.
Yeah.
We need a right back. We need
to compete with Siriki.
Siriki's okay, but Siriki's all right going forward. Siriki, I think of as a bit of a bogle, really, whereas he's good going forward. And we've only got, besides that, we've got Shackleton, who I would get rid of. I'm fed up of buying players who aren't fit. It can't be right. I like Tom Davies. I like Tom Davies.
I know, we all do, Dad.
We
all do.
But he's never fit. I don't like Shackleton because I've never seen him. They say he's a decent player, but I haven't seen him play. So the thing is, I was just thinking about this, and obviously I want to talk about our former players that we've had. So
don't know what you mean. Keep going.
Well, there's a couple or so, but if say for instance Shackleton's on what, 20 grand a week, would he be on that?
15, I would say, but yeah.
Well, to make it easy for maths, 20 grand a week.
Okay.
But he plays once every 4 games, and that's being generous. That means he's on 80 grand a week, really, because he's only getting paid. He's getting paid for all that for no games.
That's not even on availability, though, is it? That's on ability.
Anyway,
he doesn't get in if he's fit, does he?
And he don't get in if he's fit.
Whereas
why are we paying? Well, anyway,
somebody like Tom Davies, though, Dad, who's probably on 30 grand a week. Riff put a comment in last night, and I know you caught some at 3 Mardy Blades, but I don't know if you saw this, but he put a comment in saying that he's played less than 900 minutes in 2 years. So that's 4.5 games over each season.
What a great stat that is. What a great stat
It's a brilliant stat, but what a shocking revelation it is.
Work that out for how much he's getting paid per week for a game.
There you go, Riff. That's your next. Lee or Riff, whoever's watching, will be straight. It'll be a race between them because they'll love.
But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the amount that we're paying for them. So, and why do we buy so many of them when they're not fit? So
how do you feel about Rhian Brewster not signing a new deal?
Oh, I'm heartbroken.
On that note, we're going to jump into the comments.
I think it's shocking. I don't like thinking about Brewster because he goes on about how much of a blade he is and stuff like this. And he's had our pants down for 4 years.
He doesn't, to be fair. Other people do about
no,
him.
No, he does. He's always at the front of bloody celebrations and
you're out of order here. You're out of order. You can't. What would you want? Would you prefer he was sat sulking when we scored, and then you're thinking you're going to be paid 35 grand a week?
No, not expect him to be sulking, but he's scored winning goal. He's out at front of everybody. Dad, what? The thing is that he's done nothing for 4 years hardly. He has a half decent 2 or 3 games at end of season, and how much money has he taken out of our club? Just hold a minute, Jim. And now he's not signed a contract because we've obviously said to him, you've been on loads of money and not playing, and we'll offer you another contract because we've offered him another contract, but on a lot less money. And he's thought, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having it. So he's not signed a contract. He'll go to another club, and we'll get absolutely nothing from him. At least if he'd have signed a contract, which I was the same with McBurney, when they come to the end of the contract, if they'd have signed a contract, we'd have got, I don't know, threatened Satan for him, something like that. But I mean, we've got 2 million or 4 million. Do you know what I mean? For this 23 million pound player that we bought,
we wouldn't have got that. We wouldn't have got anywhere near that.
What? What?
We would have got 3-4 million quid for Brewster.
Well, some of our Blades fans think we would
because they said paying that. No, with Brewster, I'm playing devils a little bit because I don't think he's been. I think towards back end of last season were his best stint in a Blades shirt, but other than that, he's not been. Go on.
It's been his best. This does my nutting because these players that we bought. I mean, I know you have got a good point. You've got a good point when you talk about Cannon and you talk about Brewster and you talk to an extent about McBurney. Not being there, it's not their fault about the prices that we paid for them.
Correct.
But we did, and that's what it is. But we've got a player, Brewster, who comes in, who's been rubbish for 3 years, generally. I know he's had a lot of trouble with injuries, but he's been rubbish for 3 years. And even when he's played, he's been rubbish. Then he comes in, and he has half-decent games, and everybody's saying, oh, he's doing well now. He's doing well now. No, he's doing a normal professional footballer's job.
It's the best he's played in United, and most consistent because he's avoided injury.
Jim, if you went on and played, and you did best you played all season, I won't be saying, oh, yeah, he's great, he's our Jim. Because, you know what I mean? Because you played better than you'd been week before.
But you can't... Look, I'm an advocate of saying ta-ra to him, as you know. I think he might have been.
I think it's a sickness, Jim, altogether. I think
he might have been told he's not going to play though, Dad. He might have been told you're not in my plans. You're not going to be a starter, but if you want to stick around on a much lower wage, then you'll be involved in the squad, and that might be his decision. It's not like a mercenary thing per se, is it?
We're in a catch-22 position with him. I don't want him. I've had enough of him. But yeah, we've.
It doesn't sound like a catch-22.
Well,
it sounds like a ta-ra.
It is because if he'd have signed a contract, we'd have got at least something for him. But anyway, so
okay.
I'm doing team actually. I forgot Brewster wasn't even in team in the squad. That's how bloody good he was.
Speaking of players and new players and things like that we're thinking about now, Max says, "Evening lads, looks as if Louis Barry is off to Borough. So, any thoughts on Louis Barry, Dad? Because he were linked to United. Max is now telling us that he's going to Middlesbrough. Do you think that's a missed opportunity if we don't get him, or would you like to have seen him come in? What's your thoughts on him?
This is the thing that I'm worrying me. I just jotted down 2 minutes before we came on, and I jotted down Tommy Doyle, Dunn, Kessler Aiden, Darling, Poku, Galbraith, and I didn't put down what do you call it? You just mentioned Louis Barry. But what have all them got in common?
They've all been linked to United and gone elsewhere.
Correct.
But
they've all been available, and it's not like they've gone to West Ham or Everton and all like that. They've either signed at QPR, they've gone to bloody Blackburn or Swansea or wherever.
So have we really missed out? Blackburn,
yeah, I think we're missing out. I think we're missing out big time on quite a few players. Yeah, I just hope that we've got somebody else in mind. You know, I know Paul Mountain was saying that, he thinks that we might be waiting now for some better quality, or they've got that in mind. But
are you not convinced?
Well, we're talking about with better quality. These are good quality Championship players who we've talked about. Who else? If you're talking about better quality, you're probably talking about lower Premiership players. But we're not going to get. I was thinking about other players. I was thinking about right backs, which I can't think of very many. I was thinking about Walker Peters at Southampton. We've no chance of getting him.
No, we haven't.
You know what I mean? It's like, but are they the step above the quality of these that I'm just talking about?
Yeah, they are.
But
that's a stretch too far for us, isn't it?
It's a stretch too far. Yeah.
So they're going to get a Premier League move into Walker Peters, sure.
What's the other? The centre half I was thinking at Southampton, because Southampton have got about 5 or 6 centre halves.
Ronnie Edwards.
No, I didn't think we'd get it. I thought we might get Bednarek or somebody like that. Somebody an experienced centre half, because they've also got Airwood Bellis, haven't they? As people like that, they've got quite a few different ones. They've got about 5, 6.
We could do with Southampton won't sell to us. I'd be shocked, but
that is the other thing.
We could do with an experienced centre half now.
Absolutely,
but a little bit like in terms of your Brewster argument, we think Robinson's going to miss out, or maybe not to Bindon, but whoever we end up. Once the recruitment's complete, I can't see Jack Robinson starting in this side. I'll be absolutely amazed if he does. But I don't see what Wilder saw in him, and that's just my personal opinion. But who's going to come in for Jack Robinson and pay money to take him offers when he's on about 25 grand a week?
Nobody.
That's what.
Nobody.
So
he'll be there as reserve. He'll have to play. He'll have to just be his backup, won't he? But
on 25 grand a week.
Is that? I don't know how much he's on.
Well, and the rest, I would have thought.
But I've also heard, can't tell you from, but that he's not happy when he's not playing in the dressing room. I
know you've heard that from.
Well.
Right, let's crack on with these. So, David says...
Go
on, Father.
No, David. No, go on, David.
No, go on after you, Father.
I was just going to finish up on my back. Oh, no, because we haven't back 4. We haven't even touched on keeper or left back, have we?
Just your iPad's moved, I think. Cool. Right, we're good. Keeper and back 4 then, you want to touch on?
Yeah, I think we need I would like us to get an experienced out of contract keeper for behind Cooper. Somebody like a Bergovic or a Forster.
Are they going to be happy to sit on the bench for
not
much money?
Well, they're 38, 39 now. The thing is that the point is about being not much money, because they've been on Premiership wages or certainly high Championship wages.
They're coming for no fee, won't they? So if you take them for a year, it probably offsets it a little bit. It's just we're going to stick with Davo, aren't we?
You see, the thing is, what I'm also thinking about is that it will help. Cool. I'm just thinking about training, and I've thought about this when I've recommended experienced players. I know you sort of like poo-pooed me a little bit about Danny Ings and players like that. Experienced players who are coming at the end of their careers, because there's no resale value on them. I know that. But if you get them fairly cheap, and they're helping our young strikers on, or our young centre backs on, or our young keepers on in training, they've got a lot of experience.
Well, that's shifting at the minute, isn't it? That certainly my thought process on that is shifting a little bit, because we're going so young in terms of the players that we're recruiting. It's too young in terms of, you can't have too young a squad.
I love us having a young team, but you need some old heads just
where the value is in the youngsters. Yeah,
I mean, the keeper's all right not to play. I'm not expecting a 38, 39-year-old keeper to sort of like be playing week in, week out, but they'll be helping Cooper in training and saying, this is how we did it at bloody, Liverpool, or this is how we did it at Rangers, or this is how we did it at Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And that's that sort of thing. So that's why I think we should get an experienced keeper. Well, I know I was thinking the other day, Wes is doing well, isn't it? West Ham, he's having a great career down there.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for your nice little needle.
They'll be pocketing his money though, won't he? So
he will. Very fair. Oh, here we go. Like, I knew I could rely on one of them, and Riff is beating you to it. Lee is here with the Tom Davis stats Tom Davis, reportedly on 30 grand a week or 1.56 million a year. If he played 4.5 games per year, he's earned nearly 350 grand per game or £3,851 per minute on the pitch. That is daylight robbery, he says.
Absolutely. If you look at its stats like that, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'd like to do it for a lot of our players, to be honest. Oh. If I could do maths.
Well, that's Lee's job for tonight, isn't it? To be fair, you just set him off.
Good old Lee. Thank you, Lee.
I'm just going to say thanks, pal, for that. Yeah. So moving on from keeper, then you'd like an experienced backup keeper. Anybody in? I know we need a new right back. And I think we'll naturally talk about the centre halves because I think Anel may leave still. I think we've talked about Robinson. I don't think he'll be good. Well,
we've touched on centre halves anyway. We need an experienced centre half. At least one. At least one.
What about, and I'm going to start you in a specific point here. Harrison Burrows is our starting left back, undoubtedly. Sam McCallum is an okay deputy. What has happened to our mate, Rhys Norrington-Davies? And how sad is that as a tale? Because when he went down injured, before he got injured the first time, he was the second time I think it might have been, he was a real player. And we were big fans of Rhys Norrington-Davies, saw a big future in him at United. He's come back, he's not been half the player, has he, that we've seen before. We've seen it so many times with injuries to players that it can really derail their careers, and hopefully it's just a temporary thing. But do we now look to move Rhys Norrington-Davies on, Dad, as sad as it may be?
I think we have to. I don't know where he'll go, though. He's not down as injured, now.
I know, he's back in training, isn't he? Well, he's been fit. Well, he picked up another injury, didn't he, towards the end of the season? But
we don't need him now. We can't. I think he'll just break down again from how I've seen him playing.
So sad.
Very sad. But I think I'd be quite happy with just because you see Harrison Burrows now as being obviously our first choice left back for as long as we can keep him, and McCallum's a decent backup, which is all you can ask for. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want a proper first 11.
First choice, and then
then somebody who's not quite as good. I don't want 2 or 3 of similar ability. I don't want 2 or 3 6 out of 10s.
Yeah.
I want 1 9 out of 10 and 1 6 out of 10.
Yes. Yeah, because then you're clear on who's starting, they can prepare themselves properly. Or if somebody goes down, if Harrison Burrows gets sent off and misses 3 games, McCallum knows he's got to step up for them 3 games, or he's coming back out of the team in 3 games' time. So I love that sort of... it sounds a bit backward thinking, but I completely get your logic behind it.
Yeah.
Can I just ask while I'm thinking about it as well, have you been having a word with any of our mates at Everton in terms of the golden goalkeeper? Have you seen some of this that's been coming in?
What about...
Everton are looking at Michael Cooper as a backup.
I know.
To Jordan Pickford. It won't go away as a rumour. I don't think there's much substance to it. £5 million they're talking about, Dad.
I don't think there's any truth to it.
Well, there can't be.
And Cooper won't go as a backup.
Do you think
Pickford's not old?
And you're not going to get any in front of Pickford just because of his reputation, are you?
No.
So do you think there's any danger we lose? In fact, I'll ask you across the board, any of our star players now, Vinny's gone. Do you think there's a chance Anel goes? I think personally. Sidney Peck's never a sure thing. I think Gus Amos stays. I think Michael Cooper stays. I think Burrows stays. Have you got any different thoughts on who we might be in trouble of losing in the summer?
I think probably Anel is probably the favourite of the lot to go. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they all stayed now. I wouldn't be surprised if they all stayed.
Which we need, don't we? Particularly with the uncertainty on who's coming in.
Especially with, like you said, with us missing quite a few of what we thought were our targets.
Absolutely right.
So.
Sorry, David's comment, I skipped over it initially, but looking forward to this ramble. MVP, see what ATB comes out with. I remember my dear dad telling me you can take the boy out of the cliff, but you'll never take the cliff out of the boy. Like and subscribe. Up all the rambles, up the Blades. Absolutely right. Tim says, evening Jimmy and Andy the Blade. Are we worried yet with our apparent lack of transfer activity? Are you worried, Dad, about the lack of pace?
Yeah, I touched on that, didn't I? I said it. I'm disappointed that we've missed out on all these targets we've done so far.
I think that's different to...
I know, and we've not brought anybody in who I class as to improve our team.
Bindon improves us, and I will have a little gentleman's bet, no money, because we'll just because you will laugh at me, but Bindon will play more games than either Robinson or Anel this season. Well,
I see if Anel doesn't go. Well, if Anel goes, Bindon and Robinson's got. I don't fancy that one little bit.
I don't think Robinson plays.
But if Anel stays and Bindon plays alongside him, you've got Anel who never takes responsibility or any organisation. You've got a young 20-year-old kid playing. You know, that's not what you want as.
No, it isn't. No, you need an experienced partner next to him, don't you? Yeah. And some might argue, Dad, that that's Jack Robinson.
I'll tell you what I was thinking the other day. I know I'll get some stick about this, and from you mainly. I'd still think about maybe buying Suter, even though he's injured.
Why would I give you a stick about that? I love Harry.
I know, but because he's injured. Because he's injured.
You buy him injured?
Buy him injured. Buy him now.
You are balmy.
Yeah, well.
Oh, so you're all right. I tell you what.
But to bring him in,
no. Before apologies, because I respect the hierarchy.
I know.
You know exactly where I'm going with this, don't you?
I don't.
Just if anybody's here and wants to rewind about 15 minutes, why do we keep buying injured players? Why? I am sick of us buying players that are constantly injured. We never know what they're going to come back like after they're injured. Why are we doing it? Harry Suter out for 12 months with an ACL injury. I would like us to spend £10 million on Harry Suter.
I'll tell you why I thought about it.
Go on,
So looking on transfer market, obviously his values come down a lot.
Look at you in the modern world. I was looking on transfer market,
and his transfer values come down a load. And you're thinking, now this ACL it's not like you've got constant hamstrings or constantly repeat of injuries. It's
an ACL. Are we sure it's an ACL? By the way, I didn't know that. I just guessed.
Oh well, it's just one. Anyway, you've knocked me there, haven't you? Anyway,
I don't know what injury it is. I'll find out.
Find out what it is. But yes, anyway, but Suter, I think, is worth a risk if you can get him at a cheap price now.
What's a cheap price for somebody who's on the shelf? Torres Achilles tendon.
He'll be back. You can mend Achilles tendons now.
Can you?
No, I don't know.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Thank you for that. No, but I think going back to Tim's point here originally, what's it
called? What's this program called?
Well, I don't know. I might have to rename it. Let's be right. So, I know what you're saying in terms of we've missed out on targets. It's the lack of that is missing out on individuals. It's the lack of pace of players being in now. Is that something you're concerned about? Or is it just because we've missed out on individuals?
What do you mean lack of pace?
So we haven't got 3, 4, 5 in by now where we can all start to settle a little bit?
No, we just don't seem to be talking about... Well, everybody we talk about seems to go somewhere else. That's why. I mean, we've been speaking about Brooks and... haven't we? And
do you know what I think, Dad? I think they are quite tight-lipped now at Bramall Lane, and I think the media, the national media particularly, the local media are a bit close to the club, and those links tend to have a lot more substance. But the national media, I genuinely think, are shooting in the dark. Yeah. I think they have no idea who United are in for, and they are putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5 a lot.
Well, that don't matter though, does it? Because if they're talking about whoever they've been talking about, whether it be Louis Barry or anybody like that, they're not coming to us, are they? So it doesn't matter whether we're in from or not.
Yeah, but if there's a story about Louis Barry being linked to Sheffield United in, I don't know, Daily Mail or something like that, the fans are going to pick up on it and think, oh, brilliant, we're in for... We might not have even Louis Barry's a bad case because I know that we have spoken about Louis Barry, and I know that it's been reported close to the club, but other players, for example, we might never have spoken to, but because the name's been circulated in a national paper or website, fans tend to think, oh, well, that's another one we've missed out on.
See, there's another one that we've spoken about. Loads. Oh, we haven't spoken about central midfield, have we? Defensive midfield.
Go on then.
Because we were talking about Arblaster, weren't we, and Peck?
Yes, yeah.
I think it's similar there to what I was talking about with centre backs, where I like both those players, but I think we need somebody of experience in.
Not Tom Davis, then.
No,
Dave, Dave the Nose, and this were a comment I was going to ask you later on, but he says, evening, boys. Following on from a question on 3MB, who does Andy the Blade think might be the surprise of the season from the current squad under the new manager? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. But the reason I ask you that is because my pick was Tom Davis. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Davis can stay fit, and that's the only caveat, and it's a huge one for him, that he might force his way into first-team reckoning. It wouldn't shock me at all, because we need a little bit of experience in that centre midfield. Would you be shocked at Tom Davis forcing his way in?
I would be shocked at Tom Davis being fit.
I know that. Yeah, I think a lot of us would, to be honest. But
so that's why I don't think he would. Breakout. Do you know what I keep looking forward to seeing is that Cers.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, I think he might be all right. But, you know, the other thing about that Cers, you know, he's 22.
I know.
That's really older than half of our team.
Same age as Cannon, by the way, who you were peppering last season.
Yeah.
So if Cers can't hit a barn door, I expect the same energy from you.
You've got me wrong with Cannon. With Cannon, I said I couldn't understand why.
The beauty of the internet is we're recorded and we can always go back and check.
I know we can. And what I said with Cannon was not that he was a bad player. I was saying why we didn't need him. We didn't need to spend 10 million on a striker when there was other places where we needed it to be paid.
I agree with that. It were a bit of not a panic buy. I think it's too strong to say it were a panic buy.
And then I went into details to why I didn't think you were worth 10 million.
Yeah, you did, because it don't count if you score 4 in one game.
Doesn't.
And
no.
it don't count if like 3 of them are penalties either, does it?
4 of them.
Okay. Okay. So of that 10, he's only really got 2.
Correct.
So he scored 2 goals and got a £10 million move. He's done well there. He's done well.
Well, to be honest, he didn't. He moved for £7.5 million to Leicester, and then he bloody went up £2.5 million, and after not doing all.
Do you think? I mean, he might be your answer. Do you think he's got the potential to nail down a first-team place under Cers? Because obviously he's a more technical type of player, isn't he, than we've seen.
Do you know what my team would be? Or do you want to wait till that?
No, go for it, and then we'll take some comments in and around it. But go on.
Right, my team would be Cooper in goals.
Yes, correct.
A proper right back.
So, sorry, are there going to be like 6 empty spaces in this?
There might be some empty spaces. A proper right back.
So this is your United 5-a-side team.
Has anybody mentioned that he wasn't getting in last year for whatever reason? There's a lad who did really well at Leicester called Pereira. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Ricardo Pereira.
Yes. Yeah, good player. We played against him and he ripped us to pieces, didn't he?
He did. That's why I remember him. Ricardo Pereira. He played
like a wing back.
Well, he's a right back, but he plays Portuguese, I think he is. And he's coming into last year of his contract.
Look at you with transfer market. I love that.
And
I think he's Portuguese.
But he didn't play that many.
He's coming into last year of his deal.
And he didn't play that many games last season. So whether he were dropped or whether he were injured, I don't know. But somebody like that would be a...
You've done more research for this show than you ever did as a scout. Well done.
Right. Centre-backs. Anel and...
Bindon.
No, I want somebody... I want somebody experienced there.
So you're not rating Bindon, are you, really?
I'm rating Bindon as a backup.
What? Why would we do that?
I want Joe Worrell in, or I want.
We're not going to sign Joe Worrell, are we?
Somebody like that.
I'd love to, Dad, but we're not going to sign Joe Worrell. He'll be on 50 grand a week.
Burrows,
correct.
Left back.
Yeah.
I want a defensive 2, like we've always been playing, with Arblaster in there, and somebody experienced. Now there's 2 or 3. I'll tell you what I think we'll buy before. The ones who are, I mean, who's the one that I'm always after? Who I've been after for the last 3 years? Lewis O'Brien.
He's going to Wrexham, isn't he, I think?
Wrexham, they've accepted a bid of 5 million. They've dropped it from 8 to 5.
Well, that's not Sheffield United prices, though, is it? So
they've accepted 5 million, but Wrexham have dropped out because they can't afford his wages.
He's on 35 grand a week, isn't he, I think?
I don't know. So, but O'Brien, maybe they won't sell him to us. Do you know, I think we'll get. Well, I'll tell you a couple of players that I would like. Shea Charles, who I would have in that position.
Do you think we'll get him?
Well, I don't know. That's another one.
Dad?
Southampton, in it. Will they sell to a rival? Or I think it will be Wouterberger.
Wouterberger?
Yeah, same thing.
There's a 10-minute transfer coming up on him tomorrow.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, there is.
But I think that's the type of player that we'll get to go alongside Arblaster, because I won't be happy, I don't think, with Peck playing there all season with Arblaster, 20-year-olds. So
yeah, I agree. I think.
I love Peck, and I think his time will come. So I think that will be that. So
how much of a miss, Dad? And we were banging on about this for about 2 years. How much of a miss were Matt Grimes?
Oh, absolutely. But we didn't need him as a defensive midfielder, you mean?
Yeah, it's just somebody that's experienced, calm on the ball, tidies things up, neat and tidy, gives it easy, decent.
Well, I've been on about Lewis Bryan for the last 3 years, and all he does is get the ball and carries it up and gives it to his bloody frontman.
But that's enough, isn't it?
I know.
So what were your thoughts on? Do you think we've missed a trick with Tommy Doyle as well then?
Yeah, I do. Although 10 million is quite a lot.
That's the guarantee if you get promoted, though, isn't it?
Yeah, which would be worth it.
Okay, so you think it's Arblaster and/or Peck alongside somebody like a Wouterberger?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Then, if we've missed out, I would like to. I mean, I've seen Brooks and Barry both mentioned. We won't get both of those, I don't think. But say we got one of them.
Yeah.
I'd have Brooks say outright wide right. Somebody wide left, which would probably be
Ben Brereton Diaz.
Hamer. I'm gonna sorry, not Hamer. O'Hare. I'm gonna say.
Callum O'Hare wide left.
I've got Hamer at number 10.
How to unravel a reputation in one team.
I've got Hamer at number 10.
I love Hamer in the 10.
And I've got the front two of Cannon and Campbell, with Moore on the bench.
Because we're both big Kiefer Moore fans, aren't we?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would love to have O'Hare not playing on the left, but I don't. Where are you going to fit? I can't work out where to get O'Hare in.
Does it have to be Hamer or O'Hare in the team?
I think it might have to be. You've only got one. If in that team, you've only got 110, haven't you?
Well, you have if.
I won't play Hamer out.
If you're playing two strikers, Dad. If you're playing two strikers, then you can't play Hamer and O'Hare for me.
No,
you've got to play one striker up top, and then you'd play. If you're having wingers, you'd have 110, which will be O'Hare, and then you'd have Hamer as an 8 behind.
I don't want Hamer on left again. I want Hamer as the number 10 behind the two strikers. Which means we need two wide men.
A quick one. When we will jump into some more comments. I can't get to them all. When I've got a guest, it's going to be difficult for me to get through them all. I'll get through as many as I can. But Lee's just messaged me to say, this one's just for you, Andy the Blade. Rhian Brewster. This is breaking down the finances on the Rhian Brewster deal. Average over 5 years, 30 grand a week, 7.8 million total basic wages, 1.56 million per year, 120 appearances in total. That's £65,000 per game, £722 per minute. A bargain compared to Tom Davis. But
the
stats are incredible.
Davis played half decent when he came on, though. That's the difference.
I tell you what, you're risking the ire of Ian at this rate. So fair play to you. Right, where were we in the comments? Oh, Josh says, assuming we lose Anel, do you think this lad from Tottenham paired with Bindon have enough experience to be our starting back two? Or would you rather some experience came in? Josh, we've covered the majority of that, but what do you think, Dad, to Ash Phillips from Tottenham, who's been rumoured?
Don't know him.
Well, he's just very young. I think as a permanent signing, he's got all the physical tools and attributes that you want.
Has he played? Has he been out on loan?
Yeah, so they got him from Blackburn for, it said 2 million when I was doing reading up, but I remember it being around 3 million. He was coming to the end of his contract at Blackburn, and they got him for a bit of a snip because he'd broken into the Blackburn team at that point. And then he went out on loan to Plymouth, and then I can't remember whether it were half a season at Plymouth and then got recalled and sent to Stoke, or whether it were a full season at Plymouth and a full season at Stoke. But he's in two poor teams, and Stoke were poor last year. Apparently, he's not looked too bad, and that's all we can go off. But
yeah, you see, I remember.
Don't jump out at me.
I remember Bindon getting some quite rave reviews at Reading. Yeah, but I can't remember much about Ashley Phillips at all.
Ash Phillips is. I like him as a player if we're signing him. I think of Ash Phillips the way you're talking about Bindon. I think Bindon's a lot more first team ready, whereas I think Ash Phillips we would definitely be developing him for Tottenham, and I don't know if he's ready for a top-end championship run. Whereas if we sign him and he's ours, then you can sort of put that time into him to develop him, and so he can come into the team, but then he'll just get better year on year. Hopefully that would be the plan anyway. So I like Ash Phillips as a permanent signing, not as a loan personally. But again, you can't really pair, what is he, 19, 20?
Well, we're doing exactly what we're saying again, though, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Playing two young kids, and also you're not if Anel stays, you're not helping Anel. We all know Anel wants somebody to help him at the back.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, isn't it? Really, when you think he's a professional.
Well, it is, but some players are like that. Jim, I've seen it. I've seen players older than Anel. You know what I mean? Who just don't take responsibility, just want to play their own game or be told, what to do.
But
they're not.
Surely, as the more experienced partner of the two, you'd have enough about you to be able to.
Some people aren't like that, though, are they? Some people are just quiet or don't want to tell people, order people about or tell them where to go.
It's more disappointing than anything else, really. That I think Anel just focuses on himself, doesn't he? And
that's what I see when I'm watching.
He was clearly distracted by having to mop up for Robinson, or what, in his opinion, having to mop up for Robinson and stuff. So it just did not work. That partnership for me never really worked. Rob says, "Evening, Jimmy, and welcome back, Andy. Good to see you. Like and subscribe. It costs nothing and helps get us to 10K. Thank you, mate.
It's welcome back. I haven't been away. I've just said I was coming on once a month. Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. It's a nice thing to say.
It is a nice thing to say. Thank you.
It's all right. It's all right. Joe says, I've got a feeling one of the AI lads will be heavily involved this season, all very fast and can run all game, either Ukaki or Chris, I reckon. I think Ukaki is the one that's being mentioned as the first signing of the season, mentioned in and around the first team, but we honestly don't know what we're getting, do we? It's a mixed bag. Ben says, evening, Jimmy and Andy the Blade. Question for you both. As you both have scouting experience, what attributes would you be looking for in a player to come to the lane, up the Blades, up all the rambles, like and subscribe? So I will take the very quick first answer because I have nowhere near the experience. I scouted for about 7 years, Dad, in total. I didn't know it was that long. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, looking at some stuff the other day. Anyway, I think the thing I would be looking for in a player under Ruben Selles, who is clearly a bit of a disciplinarian, expects high standards. I think we will be recruiting, not predominantly, because obviously you've got to be able to play as well, but I think fitness will be really high on the agenda, because last season, something we saw too much of was our team tailing off towards the end of the games. I don't know if you saw that table that somebody published in the Platinum chat, Dad, where if the games would have started on 75 minutes, then we would have been something like 16th in table. Leeds would still be first, Burnley would still be second, and we'd be 16th.
Do you know, that's a shocking start. That's a shocking start on our fitness levels.
It's really poor, isn't it?
Although, is it fitness levels, or is it concentration levels, or is it?
Well, this is why they're asking you, Dad. This is why they want to know what you would be looking for in a player. No, seriously, people. I know you laugh because when you have lived it, which you have, and you've been a Premier League scout. It's part of what you've done, but people value your take on it. So what do you think we should be primarily looking at? It can be more than one thing, but
yeah,
what
it all depends. It all depends on what position you're looking for, isn't it? Really, and you need different attributes for different positions. Pace is always a big thing, because if you haven't got pace, and you can't teach pace, so you need to make sure they've got pace. You need control. All professional footballers should have instant
Brewster.
control. Yeah, they should have control. Ollie Burke.
Yeah, he's got pace.
He's got pace.
Yeah.
But no control. Awareness of what's going on around, and awareness of the pass. I mean, I know Ross Barkley did really well for Luton, wasn't it? Other year. But I was not working with him, but I used to see him in training at Everton when he were breaking through, and looked as though he was going to be a superstar at Everton. And I always thought he had all the attributes, because he was big, he could hit it with his right foot, left foot, he was strong, he was quick. But more than often than not, he took the wrong decision. He shot when he should have passed. He passed when he should have shot, and didn't maybe take the right options. So that's always something.
Not a football brain, really, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Dad. Mr. Vancouver says, "Good evening, Jimmy and Andy the Blade."
Hello, Mr. Vancouver.
Yeah, a big pal of yours, Dad, isn't he? So I'd like to get your opinion on what Birmingham have been doing in the transfer window, and where you think they'll finish. Up the Blades of the Rambles, up the Matilda Shakes, like and subscribe. Thank you, Mr. V. Yes, up Matilda Shakes. Support your local bands, but particularly that one, because they are brilliant. Birmingham, Dad, thoughts on their quick movement in the transfer market?
I think hats off to them. Mon chapeau.
Mon chapeau.
It means something to do with hat. Take my hat off to him anyway.
Mon chapeau.
I've been watching Tour de France, so I'm feeling a bit French.
Mon chapeau.
I think that I take my hat off to him. I think they're really having a go at it. So obviously they've got the things in for Lewis O'Brien. They've got some good players. They're getting rid of the old guard, which I know they've got a lot of sentiment with. Mullins has gone anti to Wigan, so they're getting rid of some of the old players who's gone where they are. So they're changing over. They're not afraid to change over, and they're spending a little bit of money. So fair play to them.
Just dropped 10
I
million
don't like
quid on that.
I don't like them. I don't like how they were with us when we played them. But I can't help but you gotta like Ryan Reynolds and what do you call him, McElhenney.
Them Wrexham boys just it wind me up though.
It's the Wrexham fans really who now think that they're being the bee's knees, but I think the owners are nice blokes. Somebody
suggests.
I know. Secretary Sean Harvey.
Of course, yes. Sean Harvey,
I worked with Sean Harvey at Bradford City.
Yeah. Don't mention any tales about Sean Harvey on here, please.
No. We could get sued.
Yes, we will get sued. Sky says,
how much is he still on? Oh no.
This is Skyblade that you are speaking to about his B&B, Dad.
Oh yeah.
You absolutely love your connections to the Ramble, don't you? Now that people are coming, Mr. V's your pal, Skyblade got an Airbnb that Andy the Blade can use at a discounted rate. Like to know your opinion.
Jim, I think it was our Sally who were asking who wanted.
Yeah, it was. Eki Outsal.
I think I was just a sidebar to that.
Exactly right. Hi guys, I'd like to know your opinion on trying Femi on the right wing instead of in defence. Can dribble, has speed, loves the byline, and has an eye for goal. Not a great defender, but has some use when tracking back. I agree that he's very good going forward. Not great going backwards. I don't think his positional sense is that good. I know and I've done it myself, Dad, compared him to Bogle previously. I think Bogle's a better footballer. I think Sariki's a better athlete. And I think is a wing back all day long for me. We're
not
not going to play with wing backs.
Not a bad shout, that Skyblade. Not a bad shout. To try it out.
Yes, I agree with you, Skyblade. Anything you say, Skyblade, you are absolutely right. And actually,
is it free in September?
I hear that you want a Brewster back. Now I think about it, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, Skyblade. Well said, my friend. Lewis says, evening gents, being Callum Aware fans, where do you expect him to play under Ruben if he doesn't play a formation with a 10? Just as a scenario, up the ramble, like and subscribe.
Great question, that, because I love Callum Aware. I just don't know where he fits in.
I know.
I've squeezed him into left wing there on my thing, but he's not left winger. I just don't know where he goes. He's too lightweight to be a defensive midfielder.
Well, we're not on about a defensive midfielder, but Paul were talking about him dropping back to be more of an 8, a little bit further back.
But he can't. I mean, you could play him in a 2, like Hamer and O'Hare behind one striker.
Yeah, that 2 10s.
Yeah, 2
But then
10s.
you've no wingers, have you? Because you can't play wingers in that system.
No.
The View from the Mountain says, welcome back, Sensei, Andy the Blade. Some entrance tune. Absolutely love the Andy the Blade intro music. That's quality. Hope Andy the Blade likes it. He couldn't hear it. What a walk on track. I'll have to send you it, Dad, because I worked on it and I've been waiting to see your reaction and you just missed it completely.
It won't.
You'll have to watch it back.
I will.
It's funny.
I will.
Nice to see Andy the Blade back on the telly. Or is he anybody in the know we can be in contact with since Wilder left? Has anybody in the know been in contact with Wilder since he left?
No.
No is the
not
party
yet.
line. No is the party line. We'll go with that.
Not yet.
That intro was absolutely cheesy as hell. Love it. Absolutely right. Dodgy Motson says, evening gents, that new intro for Andy the Blade is the best yet, I think. Expect it for a Ramble legend. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. They're all loving it, Dad. They're all loving it.
Good.
Andy, did you make the trip over to Arran Islands whilst in Galway, says Daz?
We didn't get out of the pubs, mate. We got down to as far as Salt Hill, which is a little bit of a sort of like a coastal place just down things, but only because we'd heard there were a couple of really good pubs down there. So,
okay,
we're only there for 4 days, 3 nights.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Hopefully the sound's a bit better now since I tweaked it. Mr. V says, Andy the Blade sending me subtle messages wearing the Packers merchandise. I'm working on it, Andy. He's a busy man, but I'll give him a little nudge. You're disgraceful. Thank you for letting me know about the sound. Chris Colchin, who is a Platinum Rambler, and his nephew, Sam Colchin, has just signed a professional deal with United today.
I've seen that. Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, pal, to you and the family. Hi, Jimmy, Andy the Blade, and all the Ramble family. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who posted the kind messages congratulating our Sam on signing his 2-year professional contract with the Blades. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Congratulations to you and to Sam, mate. Obviously, wishing him all the best for his Blades career. That might be our right-back solution right there, Dad. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Could be next season's City Peck with a bit of luck, but we shall see. Loud and clear to me, says Helen. Thank you very much. Michael says, looks like Wilder might be in strong contention for the Leicester City job. What's your thoughts on this, Dad, about Wilder potentially going to Leicester? Because for me, it does a couple of things. It shows that big sides in this league recognise that he's still a very strong championship manager, which is, I don't think anybody would doubt. He's clearly not harmed his reputation in the right circles, which is again, is a positive. But also, does it let some Blades know that Wilder's willing to move on because he has to? That's the next step in his career. And we do too, as a fan base. Now need to look to this next step under Cers, because Wilder is not wallowing in, oh my God, I've been let go by Sheffield United. It's, right, there's a Leicester job going. They want to speak to me. I'm going to speak to them and see what situation is. So what's your thoughts on Wilder to Leicester?
Well, first of all, I will say, I think we've all moved on anyway. We've all had to move on. So,
people move at different paces though, Dad. And we still get some people saying that they can't believe clubs let Wilder go and all this sort of thing. People take their own amount of time and they have their own tolerances, don't they? But I think you're right. The majority are coming round to it now.
Yeah, and we've got to support the new manager. We'll see what happens. As I say, a lot depends on who we get. But as regards him going to Leicester, I'm not sure whether that. I was watching Sky Sports earlier, and I saw the headlines were, like the ticker tape that things come over Sky Sports, and it said Sean Dyche and Chris Wilder are two of the people who've been interviewed by Leicester.
Yeah.
They're also after Danny Roll as well. But then I looked at the betting odds, and Sean Dyche is the favourite, and there's about 8 in front of Wilder before. He's about 22 to 1 or something like that as well.
Yeah, he's still distant, isn't he?
So I don't think he'll be.
How would you feel if he was though? Just
I wouldn't like it, to be honest. No, I wouldn't like it.
I didn't like it when he went to Borough. I didn't like it.
I'd be pleased for him, but I wouldn't like it because. But you do it. You just have to do it. If you're a professional and you're working in football, you go where. He might not have gone to Wednesday, but he would go anywhere else. And he would also, like he did when he went at Middlesbrough, want to beat United when he plays them. But because that's what you have to do when you're professional.
Dad, I remember conversations where, well, we won't say it.
You're not going to mention Brian Dean, are you?
No, not going to say anything about it. Not going to say anything.
Oh, Wednesday?
No, when you were a scout and we played United.
All right, yeah.
You were split loyalties, weren't you?
The thing was, what I had, part of the job when you're scouting, part of your job, sometimes you would look at players or whatever, but the other part of the job is you would do reports on teams who you were going to play. Yeah. So, there were times certainly when I were at Bradford City, not so much when I were at Everton, but when I were at Bradford City and when I was at Stoke, I think it might have been, but certainly at Bradford City, I remember having to do a report on playing on United. For us to play for Bradford City to play United, and obviously try and beat
back
them.
to front, don't you? So.
Yeah, and you have to sort of do whatever you can. I mean, United beat Bradford, and they were all playing out saying that I put in a bloody wrong report.
A dodgy report.
Yeah. So they said, "You've done this on purpose, haven't you?" He's not a weak link. He wants a weak link.
Don't close down Michael Brown. He can't do anything with it.
Yeah, I remember it were one of the games we played. We just it went that really good season when we just signed Windass and players like that. So we hammered them. We hammered them even though I was playing for working for Bradford.
Did we get Windass direct? No, it weren't direct from Bradford, was it?
No.
Borough we got him from.
From Borough, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. He were a great signing for us. And then it all went wrong, didn't it? In playoff final where he never got it.
Yeah,
that was
dodgy. You mean Warnock? You mean Warnock, Jim?
Thank you for that. That's going in the clip. Right. Dino says, agree with your dad. I'm underwhelmed with the signings up to now. As for Barry, my mates at Borough are convinced he's going there. Hope they're wrong, but they rarely are. We could do with Holding. Yeah, I think, again, we can't get fixated on individuals because there's no guarantee that we're going to get them, but Holding would be an ideal player to come in at this stage. Mark Meldrew says, evening, chaps. Nice to see some class on the channel. Some tan that, Andy. You don't go away, do you? Up the Blades, up all the Rambles, up Ruben Selles and the positive Meldrew. You're making me look really pasty, Dad. I'm going away in a couple of weeks myself. So
I know you are. How can you have an haircut when you've hardly got out?
I know. Chuffing, look at these. It's greys at side. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. See, this is what I mean. Lee says, sack the manager, brought in a cheap option, sold a first teamer, filling up with unknowns to make up the numbers, all pointing towards turning into a production line for profit rather than promotion. Thoughts on that, Dad?
Not far wrong, is he really, to be fair? But, obviously you can't argue with a lot of what he said, but...
That's the danger, isn't it? That's the... he's obviously got quite and I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's got quite a negative view of what's going on at United at the minute.
You can paint it that way, though, can't you?
Of course you can. And this is why when you're saying we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, this is the other side to the balancing act, isn't it?
It is.
We want to be positive. We want to think about everything is going to be great. And Man Mountain sort of great that he frames it that he thinks we're going higher. But Lee also says we might not be.
You know the things is with going higher. I'm really behind Man Mountain when he's saying that. I'm not sure who though. Who is higher than the ones that we've been looking at that we could get? Can you just give me an odd name? Just give me an odd name, or you might think. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I'm doing it on purpose to think who is the. We're talking obviously must be lower Premiership now teams. So somebody from Everton. So are you talking about Calvert-Lewin? Are you talking about people
he don't
like?
improve us, I don't think.
Well, I won't want him. But who do you mean by being a bit higher?
I just said it's somebody like a Joe Worrell at Burnley who's not going to get a kick, and we're not going to buy him because he's on.
I won't say he's what I would expect us to buy. A Joe Worrell. He's not. He's not above
that's our regular targets, I suppose, isn't it?
I mean, the only one, as I say, I mentioned Walker Peters, and maybe Bednarek as well from Southampton.
What about Omi Bamadeli from Forest? To buy something like that, young centre. And look, we're not going to do this because I think we'll veer away from expensive domestic youth players. But in terms
that might be something. That might be. I'd save that, Jim, for another thing to talk about, because there's quite a lot there to talk about. If we're not going to go for our normal sort of things, who we look at, which are basically top Championship players or very bottom Premiership players, who's the ones above that we could maybe look at?
Yeah. Absolutely right. Okay, so Ray says, good evening all. We all love Wilder, but brought in a lot of players that were either injured or were injury prone. Okay, we got to 92 points, but the games we enjoyed were few and far between. Up the
that is absolutely correct, Raymondo.
Absolutely correct. And I missed one here, but Daz says, 100% agree regarding the £30 million man. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Well said, Andy. That's Brewster. He calls the £30 million man because obviously with the wages that Lee talked about as well, that's the total investment that we've had in Rhian Brewster, which is crazy.
Being value for money, really.
We've got behave yourself. We've got a ghost account here. If you ever need another Mardy Blade, Jamie Dumpling would be the perfect super sub if all three of you can't make it, or you want to play 4 up top with 4 Mardy Blades. Up the Ramble, up the Jamie Dumpling, and that's from Jamie Dumpling's second account. So thank you, Jamie, for thoughts on Jamie Dumpling, Dad?
Jamie Dumpling, good lad. I know Jamie. Good lad is Jamie.
He is a good lad. Ollie says Susan needs replacing, no doubt. Needs at least an athletic, strong holder who can get about the pitch, different to what we already have. I think that's fair. I think a lot of people will be wanting that. I don't know if, because we don't know the formation, we've no idea how he's going to play, then we don't know what he's after in the profile of a player, do we?
We have been struggling a bit. We've mentioned this over the last few times I've spoken to. We've not. Who's the leaders in our team on the pitch?
Well, we've talked about it for a long time, haven't we, Dad? We have.
Since Egan's gone, we don't seem to have had any.
And I don't think Egan were a natural leader himself.
No, he won't. I don't think he were.
It's Billy Sharp, Dad. Since Billy Sharp left, we have not had. And to be honest, and God rest his soul, but George Baldock was the only other one really that I would say took it by the scruff of the neck and got people going.
Yeah, I mean Arblaster. We all love Arblaster, but he's never a proper captain. He was a captain because he's a good best player.
He's a sentimental captain because he's a Blade, and he gets it, which I know a lot of people laugh at when you say stuff like that. He knows what it means to be a United player, but he's not going to be a shouter and a berater.
Jack Robinson's not a captain.
Oh,
Sidney Peck, you would think he gets it, but he's too young to be a captain and ordering people about.
Sidney Peck's an outside shout, though, isn't he?
But
in a couple of years, maybe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll give you that. But you won't want him now. To be doing it.
Yeah. Lee does say that Leeds had to pay £40 million for a player who played 48 minutes. Well, it'll never be as bad as that. Hopefully, at United. Julie says I'd buy Suter, get him fit, and we'll be laughing. Huge risk, though, Julie. Huge risk.
Julie knows what she's talking about.
I think even Andy the Blade will say that maybe he jumped the gun slightly on that one.
I am. I might have done a little bit, but I can see where I'm coming from.
As long as you can see where you're coming from. Matt says, the agent talk is 3/4 rubbish, and to create interest, it takes the mickey and gets fans' backs up when we don't sign players rumoured. Players need to join clubs for targets to become available. If players are ready and easily available, if you have to question why they've been deemed surplus to requirements so early in the window. Absolutely right, Dad. How many transfer windows you've worked since the start of these transfer windows? So how every year, and we all seem to get caught up in a similar trap. More and more happens the longer the window goes on. It's a domino effect, isn't it?
But it's brinkmanship as well.
It's brinkmanship. It is. Doff the French cap, whatever the saying was.
Mon chapeau.
Mon chapeau.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know, but John Motson's texted me about it, I think. So, anyway, we'll find out. But
it means I take my hat off to them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what it means.
For those that don't know French, that's what we're saying it means. All right?
Yeah.
So, Matthew raises a great point. Anybody available this early in the window has been deemed surplus to requirements very early doors by the club. It doesn't mean good players aren't available, or you're paying big money for players to get them out of the clubs early. So, again, it comes back to the whole pacing thing, really. I think you need a few players to move, and then the market will start to shift. I'm not overly worried about the time span at the moment, personally. You good? You with that?
No.
Okay. According to a post on X, says Scott, Cannon and Christian Chukwu are impressing in training, and it was Christian who won the bleep test, and he's very young as well.
19, Christian Chukwu.
So that goes to your pace thing, Dad. That also goes to my stamina thing. I think Tom Cannon will have a big say this season. Tom also agrees. I think Tom Cannon will be the surprise this season.
I would like him to start with Campbell. I'd like Campbell to get fitter as well, so he can bloody do a full game.
Are we going to have an honest conversation about Tyrese Campbell, or are we not ready for that yet?
Yeah. What do you mean?
No, just because you talk to me openly about anything, but I think I've mentioned it because I think we're in agreement with this, and I'll say it as kindly as I can. There's a strong chance that Tyrese Campbell has had a bit of a purple patch with Sheffield United.
Oh yeah, we've mentioned this before. Yeah,
and we've mentioned it between ourselves, and I think I've touched on it on the Ramble and got a little bit of a kickback, and understandably so, because it's controversial and it's probably slightly negative, but it's just being honest. There is a chance, and I suppose it's trying to protect him a little bit from the fan base to a degree that I don't expect him to. I would love it if he did. But I'm certainly not expecting him to be a 20-goal a season striker next year. And I'd love him to continue in the form that he's had this season. But he's never done it consistently before. And I'm just a little bit wary that he is our number one striker now. And by rights, he's our number one striker. He's the one that's performed the best. But I'm not sure how he's going to go next season. Dad, do you want to help me out on elaborating?
Yeah. Just but are we going a bit jerky? Did we go a bit jerky then on our things?
Don't think so. I hope not. Anyway, but...
Right. Yes. So first of all, do you think we've enough with three main strikers?
If we play one up top, yeah.
Well, what if we play two up top?
If we play two up top, no.
See, the thing
with that, Dad, is we're not going to go and buy a statement striker when we've spent £10 million on Cannon, are we?
We're not. But there are other strikers who
Danny Ings?
I think we could get. Pardon?
Danny Ings.
I think he's on too much money. I was thinking more of Gebhardt from Hull.
Geldart.
Geldart. Yeah, Geldart.
Yeah,
from Hull.
Well, he's played under Cers before.
He has, yeah. He's only 23. But what I was thinking, though, I would like to, as I said, I'd like to start with Cannon and Campbell. I think if Campbell, because they're both potentially good goal scorers. Campbell had a great season last season. I know we've spoken and hoped that it's not just a flash in the pan and having one of those good years. And I
like
think
a Lundstrom season. Yeah,
well, there's a few players who's done it really. Few players, but
Leon Clark.
But you have. But if he doesn't, we've also got more to bring in, haven't we? If he's not doing it, we've got more to bring in. And then obviously, if we've got to get another striker as well, we'll have a fourth striker.
I think we've good options. I think we've good options up top.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about the strikers, even if we got Geldart in, am I saying right? Is it
Joe Geldart?
Geldart.
He's a Leeds player, but he was on loan at Hull.
He was. He was. I think they could have bought him for about 3.5 million. It's not a big price.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether they had option. I didn't know.
But all those strikers, I wouldn't put not any of them as a 9 out of 10 striker. I'd put them 7s, 8s. Do you know what I mean? Rather than
even Campbell. I thought he had an 8-9 season.
Yeah, maybe had an 8 or 9 season. But can you give them an 8 or 9 season when they're not fit enough? You know, to finish games off when they always look knackered.
No star striker is what you're saying.
No star striker. No Billy Sharp that we had.
Well, you can guarantee he's going to have a 7 every season.
Or a Brian Dean or whatever. You know, you've not got a main striker. You've got a cadre of strikers.
Hell. You can tell you've been mixing it in foreign climes.
That's a normal word.
Yeah, all right. Jimmy, one up on you there, Andy. Binden's class and will definitely be I told you so at some point later in the year. You'll do for me, Matthew. You'll do for me, pal. A little bit of kickback from Chris. Jimmy, stop being obsessed with Robbo. Every live show you mention him. Z. You'll get yourself to sleep, Chris. I will mention him whenever we're talking about him because I'll be honest about it as well. And I've refrained from going on about him.
I mentioned him hardly. This.
I don't think I do, Dad. But it don't mean just because I don't agree with Chris, don't mean I can't. I don't have to change my mind because Chris obviously rates him. I'll look forward to bids coming in though for who we're gonna.
You know, Binden. Just going back to Binden because I don't want you getting in a bloody spat with anybody. About Binden, the thing about Binden is not just the fact that I'm sure, I said right at the start, I've heard that he's a really quality player. He's got a great future ahead of him. I just can't see him. I don't really want him to play alongside a Nell as a youngster. When we've got a Nell, I think a Nell needs somebody more experienced. That's all. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player.
I know you're not. I know. You don't think it goes flush with an L, do you? But how old's an L now? And I just think, he's young himself, isn't he? But
it don't really matter how old he is. It's just what he is and what he does.
I know. You must. To be honest, I didn't pick up on this, but Dave the Nose saying it's not 12 aside, Andy.
It's not what?
Playing an extra man. Not 12 aside, playing an extra man. I think you're thinking about it. You had a... No, you didn't. You played a 4 at the back, 2 in the centre, 2 wide men and 2 up top. Because you had O'Hare. Oh, no, you said you're dropping Hamer into the 10. and then Campbell and Cannon up
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
To be honest, we have got a chance with that team then.
One up front. I've just dropped Cannon.
You're unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thought it were a strong team.
It is. We do well, to be honest. Dan says, good day, Jim. I agree with Andy that Peck and Arblaster probably wouldn't work too well. Lack of experience. But what if those two could work as a duo? Stranger things have happened. I think it's not that they couldn't work together. I think you've got to expect inconsistency from young players. I don't think we'd get regular tear-away performances every week from them. Arblaster, for me, when fit, will be the starter out of the two if you're choosing either or. But I think he will have a slower trip back to full fitness, and I think Peck will start the season.
Do you think so? Do you think Arblaster's not fit yet?
No, I think he won't make the start of the season. In my opinion, and from little bits, I'm not too far away. Nothing to be overly concerned with. Ian says, unsubscribed after your Brewster comments, Dad. Thank you for that. We've lost the gatekeeper who controls everything in our chat. Thank you very much. My middle two would be Arblaster at the side of Hamer, with Hamer slightly further forward, says Nige. Barry out left, who it looks like we might miss out on. O'Hare in the 10, not sure about the right wing. Either Cannon or Campbell up front. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, that sounds all right. Do
you think there's any shout of David Brooks coming back to United, Dad? I know you're a big fan.
I am a big fan, but I think that might be paper talk.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I agree.
I would like him to come back.
Bryce says, like, subscribe and share this awesome channel with channel people. It's completely free to join the Blades Ramble family, folks. Thank you, mate. Oh, yeah, in that table that we mentioned, where if we started in the 75th minute, Hull was 6th in that table after... and Cers came in halfway through the season, remember, as well. So he had them playing right until the end and doing really well in terms of the fitness.
Yeah, we're doing crap first 75 minutes.
Yeah, don't worry about the first 75. Illiman had pace and skill, says James. He certainly did. Certainly did. Yeah, I pulled him back round to Wrexham. Toddy, don't worry. We're all right. We're good. Wrexham didn't like Billy's celebration with the tears. Put that in your documentary. I loved it from Billy. I loved that. Stick that in your flipping documentary. Evening, fellas, says Paul. Always fascinating to hear Andy's point of view. Ramble royalty. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. Pablo says, I'd love to see Begovic come in as backup. I think he'd be a better alternative than Davis. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Yeah, I agree. He certainly would be a lot stronger backup. I'm not sure he comes, certainly not on the sort of wages that we'd want to pay.
Why would he be on? Because he's not going to get first team football anyways, I don't think now.
Well, he played for QPR season before last, and were he their player at season? He did really well for him. Played most games, captained him, I think. So he's still able to play to a decent
I don't think he
level.
played last season.
Not last season, he didn't. Season before last.
Yeah.
But he's a very good keeper, and that's the balance you've got to strike, isn't it? And that's why you're looking at really older keepers.
Yeah,
because they're winding down. Whereas you're right, because would we be Adam Davis, young enough to be comfortable and sort of sits on the bench, not with a smile on his face. I'm sure he would love to play, but doesn't really cause any problems from what we're aware of. But would we be confident if Michael Cooper went out injured for 6 weeks? You'd see that as a really vulnerable position then, wouldn't you? And you can't have that, really. You can't have it. Let's have a look. Any picks from the released Prem players, Andy? Anybody that you know off the top of your head? There's players like Ben Mee. There's players like, obviously, Danny Ings. I've got a list somewhere. But
Yeah. I saw them. I had a look. A lot of them are
Michael Keane.
I want to have Michael Keane thrown at me.
Give us your honest opinion on Michael Keane as an ex-Everton scout.
I think he's poor. I watched him. In fact, I watched him recently. Did I tell you this on the last time I were on?
I don't know if it was last. I know you've spoken to me about it, but I don't know if it was last time.
I went to see him. I mean, I've never rated him. At all. But I went to watch Everton versus Man City towards the end of last season, and somebody got injured. And Michael Keane had to come on at half time, and it was horrendous. Honestly, it were really, really poor. So he hasn't changed. So that's the answer.
£30 million at one stage. £30 million player.
I don't know. They paid a lot for him from Burnley, didn't they? It was Tarkowski who went off injured, so he replaced him.
Very good. Cowboy Paul Young says, good to see you on the Ramble, Andy the Blade. Give all our wishes to Cammy. Hope he's feeling better from a few weeks ago. We all love him. Also, you seem to have some bird poo on your left shoulder. Rub it off. I think he's He's,
Houston Tech. Well, I'm off to see. I don't know what I'll see, but I'm off to see the Houston Texans.
Is Dave going with you to that?
Yeah.
To that game?
Dave.
Yeah. Oh, nice one.
In October. October or November, can't remember which.
Middle Dill says Campbell didn't have a purple patch. Laughing emoji. He was injured for a bit and put up the best goal per 90. Middle Dill, I'm going to ask you a question here. Do you know what a purple patch is? Do you know? Dad, do you want to explain what a purple patch is?
A purple patch is something that doesn't normally happen. It's an outstanding period that doesn't normally happen over the normal period.
Correct.
So, yeah. Does that?
And how many times has Ty Campbell put up a best goals per 90 in the Championship before last season?
He hasn't.
Correct. So that would indicate that this was out of the ordinary for him last season.
But don't get us wrong. By the way, we don't want it to be a purple patch.
Absolutely right. He's our main striker, and we want him to match or better what he did.
We want him to have turned the corner from when he was an ordinary type of striker to someone who is as good as we saw last year, and play that on a regular basis. That's That's what we want to see.
Agreed. So
we just hope that it wasn't a purple patch.
It means my hat, says Julie. Mon chapeau, as Brian says here, is my hat, as Julie said. So I tip mon chapeau.
I tip mon chapeau.
We'll go with that. Woolton says, would a 4-2-2-2 work? Have a dominating central defensive midfielder with Peck allowing Peck to run forward, O'Hare and Hamer in the central attacking roles, Cannon and Campbell up front. So somebody sitting alongside Peck, maybe I suppose you're going to go Arblaster, allowing Peck a bit of freedom, then having Hamer and O'Hare in front, and then a Cannon or Campbell up front. Well, that for me is too narrow.
Absolutely. I was just going to say exactly the same. I've seen teams play that, but it is very narrow. I mean, it'll expect Hamer and O'Hare to split wide, won't it? Yes. They'll expect them to do that. That'll be the only width we get, except for the fullbacks.
I think the only way you play your 2-10s is if you either do the Christmas tree, which is the 4 at the back, 3 in midfield, 2 and then the 1. Or the more balanced way of doing it is the 3.
Which is what we've been doing. No, 2-3-1.
4-2-1. Is that what?
4-2-3-1, which is how we played last year.
No, 3 at the back. 4, so you've got your width with the wing backs.
That's not a Christmas tree.
No, I said the Christmas tree, or 3 at the back, which is the more balanced version. 2 wing backs, 2 in the middle, and then your 2 and a 1. So 3-4-1, 2-1 would be the other way of doing it.
Why don't you just play 11 players up front like I did?
It's like your Dream 11, Dream United 11, where you had Stuart McCall running around like headless chicken.
Doing all running for everybody.
Behind Gibbs White. Behind Gibbs White, Curry, 11 and Die. Macca, why are you stopping him? Just give us the ball, Macca. Oh, dearie me. Peake says, je t'ai tiré mon chapeau. Is also a common French idiom meaning hats off, bravo, or well done, to express admiration, approval, or respect for someone's achievement.
What should I say? What is it?
Je te tire mon chapeau.
Je te tire mon chapeau.
Yeah, apparently
it's a bit of a mouthful.
It is indeed. We're coming to end at comments. Apologies, I haven't read every single one, but I've got to what I could. Mr. V says, even though it's a bit of a conundrum, playing both Hamer and O'Hare, you can't leave either on the bench, in my opinion. Find a way to make it work like they did at Coventry. I agree. I think the only way you do it, have them both in the middle, is Hamer behind O'Hare, personally. Interesting question from Bri. Evening, Jimmy. What does your dad think about Walker going to Burnley?
But I've got to say, I'm a bit disappointed.
I am.
A bit disappointed. After all his talk about I'm a Blade and I'll be finishing my career at United and I'll be doing this and I'll be doing that.
Let us down a little bit, do you think?
Yeah, I do. I feel a little bit let down. Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael Keane signed a new deal at Everton the other day, says Max. Never mind.
Oh, no.
Middle Dill says, do you know why Baptiste hasn't gone to Girona and why Hampson hasn't, as he doesn't seem anywhere near ready? I'm not sure, first of all, why Baptiste hasn't gone. I don't think it's a game changer for us, if I'm totally honest. Hampson in the same camp, really. He might just not be deemed part of the crop that's ready at the moment. Maybe they're allowed a little bit more. They might have picked up an injury. They might be allowed a little bit more time for whatever reason. So I don't honestly know, to be honest, pal. Max says Swansea and Pompey out of the race for Cosy 2. So we're in. That was the 10-minute transfer I did this morning. Mark Kozovnikov, something like that. Koznevsky. They're out of the race. Do you think we get him, lads? There's rumours he's in Girona today with our boys. Cosy 2, we're calling him. This Hungarian central midfielder.
Don't know anything about him.
Well, I did a 10-minute transfer on him this morning. I know you'll have watched.
No, I didn't.
You'll have to ask your sister about it, because Eki Outsal will have watched. One of my biggest supporters. Surprised you ain't mentioned Mark Kosnovsky. What's his name, Dad?
She's a Selles Outsal now, isn't she?
Don't you be stirring the pot. You've been quiet because we've not been like in the car together talking football, but you're just trying to wind her up now. She'll be messaging in. Middledale says Purple Patch will be like what Science had last season, where he scored all his goals in the first half of the season. Campbell was consistent the whole season. You're thinking of a one-season wonder. Disagree, mate. Disagree, but it's all right to disagree.
No. You can be a one-season wonder. That could be a purple patch. That could be a purple patch.
Correct.
It could last a season. So we're not thinking he is or whatever. I'm just desperate that he isn't. Correct.
Absolutely right. Like, subscribe, and share this awesome channel, says Bri. Thank you, pal. I appreciate that ongoing support. Maury says, don't worry, Kyle Walker will finish his career with us at the ripe old age of 50. Right. We're going to call it there, Dad. Anything else you want to talk about? We've been on an hour and a half. I think that's plenty.
I need to get me cocoa now. Feet up.
Are you... what are your plans over the next few days? Are you going anywhere? Are you off?
Yeah, I'm off to your cousin's do down in London, aren't I? What you're supposed to be going to?
That I'm supposed to be going to?
Yeah, but you've decided not to.
It's not. I'm working. I am working. I would love to have gone. And yeah, there's a couple of reasons actually. I need to speak to him about that. But yeah, so you've got that at the weekend.
I might be going to see James after that in Mercia.
Oh yeah, that's just before we go away, isn't it?
It is.
Have you booked that?
No, not yet.
All right, okay, nice one. We need to sort out them tickets for our Dave as well, don't we? So I'll talk to you about that afterwards.
Yeah.
So right, Dad, I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's
a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
I love getting together with you.
Mon chapeau.
Mon chapeau et tout.
A two,
yeah.
Mon chapeau.
One, those beverage. So, right, thank you to everybody in the chat that's joined us. Thank you to, of course, Andy the Blade, my dad, for joining us on the stream. We will look forward to seeing you in a month for a bit more talking sense, Dad.
Yeah.
So for now,
I think you might have to. Gotta say, I think you might have to change the channel, the actual title of the channel
of the show. Yes, we may have to tweak it.
I'm not sure. You just have to sometimes talking.
I can edit it afterwards, Dad. If they ain't caught it live, it never happened.
Take it off, Jim. Take it off. Right. Take them bits off.
Come on, you red and white wizards.
Up the blades.